And welcome to another show, Don't Get This Twisted. I'm Rob, along with my co-host, as always, Tina. Tina, how are you doing?
I am hanging in there, Rob. Life is moving.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
Life is a moving.
It is a moving.
Yes. Sometimes good and sometimes bad.
Right?
Yeah. You know, who knows?
We're seeing a lot of activity in our kitchen living room remodel.
Oh, that's
good.
And
that's like super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Dad's been gone. That's been super cool. Although it seems like he's been miserable, but he'll be back in a couple days and then we'll be on a roll for his surgery. So.
All right. I got okayed for mine.
Did you?
Yeah. I don't have a date yet. I have to do some labs. I need to get like a EKG and a chest x-ray and some blood work done. And then it'll probably be next month.
Nice.
Yeah. Good times. And then, you know, there's a lot of other good things happening. So,
Lots of stuff.
Yeah. We'll bring that up as things go. You know, I don't want to jinx anything.
There you go.
You know, I was talking to someone the other night about the love languages. And you know that we haven't done a show on the love languages for a long time.
Right.
like a really long time. I believe, I'm going to look it up, but I believe that was our third show. So
in like 4 years.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, Dane. It was a long time ago. Here, let me just tell you. So we did that show September 29th of 2021. So a while ago.
So almost 4 years, 3.5 years.
So I was talking to somebody about it because, you know, look, I think that it's a definite marker of who you are. Just by going through them, you know, even if you didn't take the test and you just kind of wing it on the definitions, I think it's pretty easy for a lot of people to go, oh yeah, that's me. Me and you took the test way back when, and I have taken it recently, not like you, but it's the same. I know who I am, and I really kind of know. Well, I'll go over them real quick just for the fans listening at home. First one is words of affirmation, saying supportive things to your partner. There's quality time, spending focused time together. Physical touch, showing care through intimate contact. Acts of service, doing helpful things for your partner. And receiving gifts, giving thoughtful gifts to express love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was talking to this person and they were very open about theirs, and which was really good because we kind of went down the line, and she was like asking me certain things and like, what's this or what's that? We'll go your number one and my number one. My number one is quality time.
My number one is acts of service, which kind of surprised me.
Is that not your thing?
I'm not used to people doing anything for me, but I guess that's what I need.
Probably. Now here's the thing, and my little kind of turn. I think a lot of these you have to think of how you are in a relationship, or because like for me, building a relationship, quality time is perfect for me. I think acts of service, and I told this person, is a woman thing. So because this is what I asked her. I go, look, if I was in a relationship with you and I went on Sundays and took your car, got it washed and filled up the gas tank, would you be happy? And they were like,
get laid in my world.
They go, you would be, she's like, I'd be ecstatic. I go, right. And she goes, well, what would an act of service be for you? And the first thing, she kind of smiled at me like, and I went, no, sex isn't an act of service. Because once you use sex as an act of service, it's transactional.
Yeah.
So I do more, I get laid more. How about we just get laid all the time, and then you do other things for me? And she's like, well, what would be an act of service for you? And I go, planning maybe what you know I like to eat while I'm going to do all the stuff for you. Because I think once you start using sex as a transactional piece of like monetary value, it ruins what sex is. And
of course.
And this girl, like literally her jaw almost hit the ground. She was like, oh, I said, yeah, don't ever do that. Not with sex, because that's a bad start to something. Which I thought was kind of interesting because she kind of thought about her relationships. Like, oh, you're right. Like if you do use that, it's going to, she was like, yeah, I dated some guy who literally used sex as a transactional thing. Nah, it's a bad sign.
Not good. No, but I, in learning about myself in the last few years since I've been divorced, I've learned that I can do everything myself. I can. I'm single. I have to. But it would be nice if somebody like made breakfast on a Sunday morning, or like you said, took my car and got it washed and gassed up.
Yeah.
What do you need now? If you did that sort of thing, and it's not about or like just did the dishes with me. It's little things. It doesn't need to be much, but yeah, it goes a long way for sure.
And I thought and mostly with if you put it in the aspect of being a couple already, you're right. Like doing the dishes or starting the project earlier than you were going to do it. Or because, if you have plans and you have things you're thinking, or even just being involved in the project. Because I like that sort of thing. So if you were going to do something in the yard, I want to do this and that, I'd be like, cool, I want to be involved in that part because you can build as a couple. So not only is it an act of service, it's quality time.
Exactly.
You're kind of, you're hitting two things with one rock. I've tried that with other people that have, it's very difficult with some people who don't want to go that route. Like I was trying to help somebody with their garage one time and I asked over and over and over and it never got done. So I got to the point where I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to ask anymore because it's not that important. So for me, that's like the double whammy. If I can help you, it's great because I like doing that sort of thing as a friend and or mate. I like to do it because I know it's going to become quality time. It's kind of a good thing. My second one is physical touch,
and my second one is quality time,
which kind of makes sense because I think you're getting through the acts of service, like we just said, you're going to get quality time. And I think quality time turns into lots of other things. It can turn into intimacy. It can turn into very good conversations. So quality time has a big wider range, I think. Physical touch to me, because I was talking to this person as well about that. To me, it's not just sexual.
No.
Physical touch is like being out. Because I asked this person about public displays of affection. And they were like, look, she's like, you can just don't get out of control. You don't try to dry hump me. And I was like, no, I think that there is a limit to PDAs. But if you have your hand in the small of their back, or if they're short, you have your hands on the
on the back of their neck. No,
the nape of their neck. No, when you're short, yes, because if I'm tall, I might put my hands on your shoulders and or put both my hands on your waist. And they even said look, you can even spank my bottom if we're jokingly around or I'm walking through a door. That is, just don't get crazy. You shouldn't be rubbing my butt in line. I get that. There is a limit to it. At least for me, there is a limit. I don't want too much going on. But
if it's done inconspicuously and it's not blatant,
correct,
then you could do whatever the hell you want to.
Correct.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. And then the other physical touch can be sitting on the couch watching a movie and I have my hand on your thigh or rubbing your feet or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be necessarily me getting touched. It's just physical touch.
I know that when I'm in a relationship, there's hand holding in the car, or there's during a movie, there's hand holding, or in bed, as long as our feet are touching, or
exactly.
But I've noticed that I'm really, really good at being, touching, at being where I'm supposed to be, doing what I'm supposed to do, holding on to the person I'm supposed to hold on to. That to me has always been easy. And my hands never stop. So if somebody's laying here and I can play with their hair, I'm going to do that, whether I'm with them or not. Just,
Right.
well, being a hairdresser, it makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. But I find that the physical touch is really easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's
I,
definitely something that I need to.
I'm the one that, like, when I drive in the car and they're next to me, I'll have my hand on their thigh.
Yeah, totally.
That's just, and I've done it since I got a car. That's
Me
just
too.
what I've done.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where I feel comfortable, where it's not, again, it's not overly sexual. I'm not like groping her, or it's just knowing that I have a hold of them. And look, I've been in a car before where we were driving, and I had to like slam on the brakes. And I remember putting my arm across this girl, and she was like, you didn't have to do that. And I go, I understand that it's a reactionary thing. It's just what I've done. I go, I've had kids in the front seat. I've had, multiple partners in the front seat. I know it's not going to do anything. The fucking seatbelt's going to stop you. Like, it's had nothing to do with that. It's just inherent trait of, I have to try to stop her from getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of interesting.
As it should be.
So to me, I think physical touch is very, very wide range of things. Again, it could be dancing in the kitchen. It can be putting my arms around you, or you putting your arms around me if I'm doing the dishes. It's those things to me go a long, long way. A very long way.
Absolutely.
So let's go number 3. For
number
me,
4.
No, number 3. You had the first 2. So you had acts of service and quality time. I had quality time and physical touch. My third one is words of affirmation.
Mine too. Or it's tied with physical touch.
I think, and I'm gonna go on be just how a man thinks and how people around me talk. I work with all men now. My old boss left. So it's 100% dudes at my work. Everyone in the front where I sit are married. So there's that as well. I believe that words of affirmation are missing in today's world, mostly for men. And again, I'm going to use the bell curve because there are always going to be outliers of women who don't say shit to you at all. And then there's going to be women who say it all the time. That's just the way it is. The bell curve in the middle, I think it's not said enough to men. And probably women as well. I'm trying to be fair, but my male friends, their significant others don't tell them they're appreciated enough.
Really?
Yeah. And because we've talked about it at my work, like not a serious conversation, but obviously going down that road of like, oh, because, me being the single guy, I say things like that, like, oh, I think this is what's missing. And obviously with the pod, we talk about things all the time. So for me, I was like, do you hear this kind of stuff? And they're like, not enough. Like maybe if I do something nice, they give me words of affirmation, but it's not like they're getting them for nothing. Like just out of nowhere coming up and being like, I appreciate having you in my life. And look, they've both been with their partners quite a long time. One of them 25 years, one of them 12. So, and I'm not trying to say that is a reason not to, but I understand like regular life and children and work and all these things. But there is something as a man to hear that. And I'll tell you.
Yeah, I've noticed in dating that men don't get told enough that they're doing all right, or that they did something that was really pleasant, or that they were loved, or whatever it is that they're missing or they're not hearing. And the funny thing for me is I'm not that way. Like we were joking the other day because I have a friend in El Paso that had a new girlfriend, and she was young, and I was like, shit, she's not going to like me, because none of his girlfriends like me, because they all think we've had a past together, and we do have a past, but not of dating or of any sexual nature, but that's always what people think about me.
Sure.
But I say stupid shit all the time. Like he was mopping one time when his girlfriend came over and me and my best friend were sitting there watching him mop, telling him how sexy he looked. And we're like, oh yeah, put your back into it. Damn, you look so sexy doing that. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Oh boy.
I do shit like that, which is way over the top. It's way inappropriate, but it's who I am. And they just go, shut up. And they laugh. And they have before they know it, they're done because we had fun with just hanging out while they did it. So my friend's girlfriend came over and she was in her 20s and I was like, ooh, this is not going to end right. Because none of the women in those guys' lives in El Paso like me until I've been put through it. They got to make sure I'm going to stick around or whatever. Right. But the truth is I've been around them for like close to 40 years. So I don't know why they think I'm doing anything weird. But anyway,
right.
So this girl came over. And I was like, she's not going to like me. And my friend's like, she's going to like us. Watch. So she goes, come here, sit down. So she sat down in the middle of us on a couch while he was doing his mopping. And we did that right in front of her. We're all, check him out. Look at your sexy man. Woo, check out his asses. He's doing, we made friends with her instantly. She was like, these girls aren't trying to get away with anything. They're just being stupid and having a good time. And I said, and look at how fast he got that shit done. And we had a good time. So then she started doing it. I actually taught her. I taught her how to do stuff like that. And, it was so much fun because there was no jealousy. And he was like, he had 3 girls gawking at him.
Yeah. I'm sure he played it too.
What's not to love? He was embarrassed all to hell, but his ego was a little bit, stroked.
At the end of the day, he was getting words of affirmation.
From all of us. That's
what I mean. Like he might have, it might have been blushing or whatever, and I'm sure he was like, Tina's a dick, but
yeah, that's exactly what he'd said.
Yeah. But he was still getting a word of affirmation through humor.
And the funny thing is because I've been so open and honest with these friends of mine in El Paso, like I could tell them I love them and they don't think, oh, she's trying to get with me or I could be there when they're in the hospital and it's, can you please help me? Because there's nothing I won't say or do. They already are very aware of it and they know that, they can trust me. And I like that the men in that family, because of the words of affirmation constantly and me being stupid with them, has created a really strong bond.
Right.
And I didn't realize, I think men need that more than women do, because women will, tell each other, hey, you look fantastic, or look at your nails, or hey, I love what you're wearing, or your jacket's amazing, whatever. Guys don't do that. So all of my friends, my guy friends, I say stupid shit to, unless they get so embarrassed that it's just not going to be fun. Because some guys just can't hear that. And I'm so embarrassing that I know that I have to hold back sometimes.
I mean, look, I think you're 100% correct. Women, I think, get a lot of words of affirmation thrown out them from everyone. From dudes at a club to their best friends at the same club. Because you're right. Because women all go into the same bathroom and look in the same mirror and say all kinds of fun stuff. Dudes don't say that. Guys, when they show up to go out and hang out with each other, they don't go, dude, you look good. I mean, and if they do, it's rare.
Yeah.
It's rare. With the exception of maybe if you're like all in suits. I will say that. There was a bunch of us all in suits one time and all of us were like, damn, we look good. But it's rare. Like it's very rare. Look, and I think simple things from everyone. And I'll say that because, me and you have a very odd relationship to some people, but I've known you so long that if you say something, it's true. 100% true. so much that like you've said things I went, oof, man, like
that's fucked up, T. Sorry.
Not fucked up, just it hurt because it was true. And sometimes the truth does hurt and you have to hear it from people. And fortunately for me, I've heard it since I was 16.
I'm sorry.
No, look, there's things you've told me in the past that like I brushed off and then years later went, oh yeah, I should have thought that one out. It's true. But like, I'll give you an example. For a guy, even if you have decent self-esteem, to have someone tell you to your face, I find you very handsome, goes a long fucking way.
Absolutely.
A long way. And I think the same for women, mostly if you're in a situation where maybe you're both not dressed up, and you go to somebody or they have, not a lot of makeup on. You're like, yeah, you look really good today. Those things go a long way. And so it can be about looks. It can be about, I'm, so glad to have you in my life. And that could be friends. Like there's something about that too, to just hear from somebody, like having you here means something to me. And that is true, for a lot of people. And, I look at you're one of my longest friends. If you want to break it down from years,
absolutely.
Even though the times where we were both married and we really didn't talk very often, when we did, they were these long drawn out conversations.
And it normally went with a visit and then like
food.
Maybe and food and a sleepover and like what?
Oh man. One of these days I'll tell the story of being over your house when it was me being the only male and all of your drunk friends.
Oh,
man.
You should tell that story.
It was the one time that I'm sure I was red in the face. And look, I can go with the best of them when it comes to talking dirty shit.
Yeah, but my friends are the best at talking dirty shit.
And not only that, women are on a whole nother fucking level of dirty.
By far.
I mean, I can't tell you who it was, but I remember all of us being in a room and one of your friends going, take your dick out so we can see it. And I went, I was like, no, like, are you out of your mind? Somebody said that? Yeah, I forgot who it was. But I mean, even for me, and I was like, nah, we're good. But but again, like those are things, both sides, I think. And if someone's in your life that obviously means the world to you, try to tell them as often as possible. It doesn't always have to be, you're the most beautiful, or it could be, you know what? Thanks for fucking sleeping next to me last night. It meant a lot, because we're all going through weird mental shit in our head, even if we're together, So I think for me that it was not as high on my list many years ago, but I think it's much higher on my list now, because it does. A simple word can warm you up inside, and it'll change your day. And I don't think that there's enough of that going around from a friendship point of view too. We have friends that I'm sure are going through a lot that will never ever tell us. And
but they should.
100%.
If you think about it, our friends, people that we know, and everybody knows us. We don't try to be anything different than what we are on a daily. Like I am this person all day, every day. I don't know what to tell you if you don't like it, but I'm authentic. You are too. Our friends know that if they need us, all they need to do is pick up a phone. Our friends know that if they're having a hard time, they need to reach out.
Correct.
Our friends also know that we make time. We're both single. We both got nothing but time.
Yeah, you're right.
There's no fucking purpose.
Yeah.
For them to, there's nothing they could say that would justify, I didn't call you because I didn't want to something. No.
Yeah, to bother you, whatever. You're right.
Yeah, because we're not those people. We're not the ones that are like, oh yeah, I'm so busy. Thanks for not calling. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'll pick up the phone at midnight.
Oh, me too. And have.
Yeah, me too. So, and there is something to that. So I think tell your friends, tell your mates what they mean to you, because I think it's much larger than you think. And I'm just telling you from a man's point of view, it goes a long way. You give words of affirmation, you will get acts of service.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt. If you feel wanted.
Yep. That same guy that did the mopping, the very next day when I got up in the morning, he's all, hey, I went and got some fresh tamales and I'm making eggs. Would you like some eggs?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Yeah. Eggs too? Sexy eggs? I'd love some sexy eggs. Yeah. And then I made a big deal about like, you guys come here and sit here and watch Angel make some sexy eggs. I made it a big deal. And you know what? To this day, every time I'm there, he will make me breakfast.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it goes a long way. I had a friend give me food, right? Like, oh yeah, I made this last night and I thought about you, so I brought it for you. It goes a long fucking way. So the next time she needed something, I was there with bells on because I needed her to know that I appreciated that. Like it meant something. And that
just makes you have a tight knit community, and everybody needs that.
And my thing is this too, because like, and this one, she always likes to use the excuse like, well, I made it already. It's like, no, but you still thought about me to put it in a bowl and
brought it over.
So that shows something else. It wasn't that you just made it. You said, I made it. And you know what? Rob would probably like some of this. That means something. So,
absolutely.
So number 4, no, that was number 4, right? Yes.
I don't know.
Correct.
We've been blowing through all of these. I have no idea. We're all over the place.
So no, I believe. So I did physical touch, quality time, words of affirmation. Actually, for me, it's number 4. So mine would be acts of service as number 4. So we're at number 4. Again, for me, very small. I'm just probably because I like to do the acts of service more than anything. Generally for me, people whose love language is acts of service is easy to me. I find it the most easiest because I already like doing that. So if that's
and I'm not used to people doing shit for me. And that's my first one. That's probably my biggest deficit.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's low because I don't need that, but I like doing it. So if someone's is that, I was chasing somebody for a while that was theirs. And I joked with her. I was like, you're easy. That's it. That's all I got to do. And I go, you have the worst one because mine's quality time and physical touch. So if you're not into that, it's going to be a long road because I need those things. So for me, acts of service. And then what would yours number 4 be?
What was yours? Number 4 was physical touch.
Okay. So I'm surprised that's low for you.
Yeah. I don't know.
And again, it could be just how you answered certain questions during that test.
If you think about it, my first 4, though, are neck and neck. So there's... Yeah,
you're right. The percentages are very tight.
You need to love all of me, not just, in one way.
Well, and I think that just shows you're more balanced.
Yeah, it totally does.
It's really kind of ticking a lot of small boxes for you instead of like, I like this and the rest are very low. It's like, you're like, no, I kind of like it all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place with all of them. Yeah.
Which is kind of good, though, because I think that's more just a balanced approach. I would say if a man was courting you, he has to do a lot of things, but, it's okay to just do them sparingly here and there because you're going to probably put more pennies inside the jar,
And I'm not very needy.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Like, even I remember just recently breaking down and like crying on the phone with you. And then I'm like, okay, let's do the podcast. And I just turned everything off and I went back to being Tina, who's got control. I just needed a minute to cry. And then we got on the podcast and did it. Yeah. And unfortunately, nobody gets to hear that podcast because there was some other technical difficulties going on.
We had to re-record it.
So nobody heard me like on an off day, but I don't think I was that different. I think my energy may have been lower and that was it.
But you turned it right back on. I just think you're right. You just needed to flush out that bit of emotion and go with it.
Well, plus I also know people don't know how to deal with my floodgates. Like apparently they're pretty heavy and it freaks people out because I don't let people into that part of my character very often. So
Right.
I have to close it off because I just spin people and they don't know what to do for me.
Mhm.
So
I can see that. I mean, again, I've known you so long. I mean, if they could have ever heard the conversation in the Denny's, you know what I mean? Like a fly on the wall. That was
oh, that's
the birthplace of this podcast was literally at a Denny's
yeah.
talking about your divorce and my intense feelings for somebody else.
And I had to have shocked the hell out of you with the stuff I told you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. I drove home that day going, what the fuck? I never knew. But look, there's a lot of things. Look, personal relationships, we all hide something.
Yeah.
Because even when I started talking to you about my divorce, you were like, oh, okay. I kind of thought that. And then I went, well, I did this. And you're like, oh, okay. I didn't know that. It's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. But
Yeah.
I think in my case, I was way more shocked. Because I didn't see it coming.
People, you what?
I didn't see it coming. I didn't see your divorce coming.
Yeah, nobody did.
So
you know,
for
nobody
me,
even got
that.
told outside of you and my brother and my dad. Nobody even got told for 9 months.
Fuck.
Yeah, I didn't even. It was during COVID. There was nobody to talk to. There was, you know, I was embarrassed and ashamed, and I was like, how is this going to go down? And everybody expects me to stay married because that's all anybody knows is that we had a good relationship.
Right.
You know, so it was really hard to even talk about. I remember telling you, going, fuck, I shouldn't have said that. Fuck, I shouldn't have said this. Fuck, I shouldn't have said that. Because there was so much.
I just think that, you know, those are, when you tell stories like that, and this kind of goes with these love languages, you're looking for words of affirmation, like everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And you're looking for acts of service. Can I do anything for you? Like these are more than just like inner things. These are also things we give. It's kind of like the last one. We both of us have gifts or receiving gifts on the bottom one.
Yeah.
I'm a gift giver to the point where I've been told to stop giving me things by someone.
See, and I've never really been given much like that. So I don't even look at it as something that I would need.
Yeah. This person's I think, well, the one I was giving things to, and it was small stuff. It wasn't like, I'm one of those people that if I saw something that was very cool, like let's say you're a grandma and you have grandkids, and I see these things all the time on fucking TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is. And it's like, you know, a puzzle pieces that have like grandma on it, and it has other pieces with the grandkids' names on it. I like to get things like that because it's like, those are things that later on in life, when we're all dead and gone, will be in a box and your grandkids will pull it out and go, look at this. Grandma had this for me, or it'll be on their wall, and the kids, as they grow older, will see that. And it's still, and so like for me, I'm that kind of thing. I go, because if I see something that reminds me or something that I know, like, oh, they might like this. I get it. Even though it might be, you know, a package of gummy bears and a little stuffed animal just for shits, because I was like, oh yeah, this person told me that they have a sweet tooth and they love these kind of gummy bears. So I'll pick them up and here you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, and it's not like I'm trying to win points. It's just that hits me and I go with it. Yeah. But the flip side is I really don't like getting gifts. Well, I shouldn't say that. Everyone loves getting gifts. I don't know how to take it. And
you don't know how to act.
I don't know how to act. And I will tell you, over the last year, my friend had given me certain things, and I did my best to kind of sit back for a second and go, it means something. They did this out of the goodness of their own heart. And I really embraced that over the last year, because it did mean something. Matter of fact, I got one of the best gifts ever. I got a beard brush. Greatest thing ever. to some people they'd go, it was a $30 brush with some soap for your beard, but it means something. And now that I've grown a beard, it means something even more because I use it every day.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's those type of things or just silly stuff. Like to me, that means the world. So I'm doing my best to receive gifts better.
That's good.
I'm just not very good at it still. And I'm doing my best to not to. And I think that you have to be careful about giving gifts too much because people think you're love bombing them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, I'm not. This is just who I am. It's an inherently bad thing in me. So maybe I should stop giving
bad.
gifts.
People just need to quit throwing out that everything that's being done good is bad.
Yeah, or transactional. I think there's people have grown up in relationships or family that everything is a transactional thing. Mm-hmm. If I do this, I'm going to get this. And if I do this, they're going to do this for me. And it's like, no, I don't care. I could give you thousands of dollars and not give two shits. Mm-hmm. Not about that. I don't care. I don't want it back. I don't want you telling anybody. I don't want any of that. I just want to help you, or I want to give you this cup that I had made for you with your name on it. Mm-hmm. I had some cups made for somebody a long time ago, years ago, because my old roommate, that's what she does. She makes custom cups. So it was easy for me. I went to my roommate. I said, I bought you a bunch of cups. This is the design. I did it on Photoshop myself and I sent it to her and she made the cups for me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So to me, it was like, and I love personal gifts. To me, that's personal. Like mm-hmm. When you get something like that, at least to me, it's like, it's thoughtful. And I was thinking about you when I put the design in and I made the design myself.
Yes.
So like, to me, that meant something. And I like that kind of stuff. But, I think a gift too, I was talking to this other person about this. Sometimes a gift is something that is a lot of these things together. One of the best gifts I can ever get is if I get in my car and there's a Post-it note with a word of affirmation on it. That again, it will start your day in a very good direction. And
I used to remember putting notes in the lunches.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Making the lunches, putting the note in it.
Because there's something it's an extra little reminder of, hey, I'm still thinking about you when all this is. Look, I've heard stories that a friend of mine would get up early in the morning and make her boyfriend lunch and make him coffee and sometimes make him breakfast. And he would never really give the words of affirmation back of it meant a lot, to the point where she now says the next person she's with, she probably won't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's horrible. You've now broke a good person of something that is a good thing. And just because some dumb shit didn't appreciate it, that's a horrible thing.
Yep.
So
I remember when my ex, when I was doing all that for him, making his lunches and making dinners, I was doing like just everything for him. And I remember one time in an argument, so I don't know why I had to hold this against him for years, was nobody asked you to.
Yeah, that's bullshit too.
And then that like, I quit doing his laundry. I quit, you know what I mean? I was like, well, I don't need to. You could take that to the dry cleaner now, and well, you can get lunch at work. It was worse. I probably made it worse than what he was trying to say to me. But right. I was using it as like, I don't do all this stuff to be ignored, is what I was telling him.
Right. I think that's kind of what happened with her. Maybe I shouldn't have
done that because it did make it transactional.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, fuck, if you see somebody putting in effort, like, lend a hand, put in some effort,
I think that's kind of what happened with this girl too. I think he kind of dropped that. Well, you don't have to do that. She was like, you're right. And I'm not going to anymore.
Yeah. And then that'll be the end of that.
Instead of just coming up behind her, giving her a hug, kissing her on the neck and saying, I appreciate you for doing this.
Yeah.
Because those
Or
things
better yet,
roll
take her
into all
car,
these.
put some gas in it, and bring it back and say, hey,
Yeah, I did
just
this
so
for
you
you before
know,
you go to work.
yeah, you
Yeah.
got gas and everything you need. Thank you.
Yeah. And again, it seems like it's transactional, but it's really not.
Mm-hmm.
These are giving acts of service and get, like I said, a word of affirmation will get you words of, it will get you acts of service that'll probably turn into quality time with physical touch.
Yes.
And at the end, there's a gift.
Right?
So, you know what I mean? Like, without using these things as, monetary things, but look, these all roll into each other. I watched this show called Shoresy. It's on Hulu. It's about hockey. And this guy, like this character, was really trying to date this character over and over. And he'd go to her house and they'd talk and all these different things. Well, he sent someone else out in front of her house in the back of a truck, this kid, and he goes, hey, this is, he had him state something in a note. And he goes, hey, I read the 5 love languages. He goes, just so you know, he goes, the 5 love languages are what everybody should know if they're smart. These are all things that we should all be doing. It shouldn't take someone telling you to give the 5 love languages. These are things every dumb motherfucker should be doing anyway.
Agreed.
And I think if you look at them like that, you should know who your mate is. I told this person not too long ago this. I can't love you how I want to be loved. I have to love you like you want to be loved. Because that's the only way that it's going to work.
Exactly.
And you have to understand who you're getting involved with or who your mate is. And again, this can go down the lines of communication. There's so many things that walk hand in hand with this, but those are the things. These 5 things I think are a very important cornerstone to who we are as human beings. And I think that you need to understand your mate and love them the way they need to be loved, because then they'll love you the way you want to be.
Agreed. If it's all in balance.
Yeah. And if it's all talked through communication, and I think a lot of these things go in the courting stage. I think if you're trying to date someone right now, communication and telling and being real is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I like talking the 5 love languages because I think you get a very based idea of who they are. And if you want to get out of it quickly, you can, jump out of the airplane while it's not on fire. Or you can kind of dig your heels in and go, okay, I understand who this is. And this, and this are ringing some bells. Now I want to get to know this person better. And at least I have a base of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of glad we revisited this since we haven't done it since show number 3. And this is going to be, since I'm on the computer and I can tell you right now, what is this? This is show 187.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
and my love languages have changed, so it's kind of cool that we revisited it.
Yeah, I mean, mine have changed. Gifts was always low, but my words of affirmation and acts of service flip-flopped. I just think that I've realized with people telling me things that words of affirmation go a long way, and your confidence level will jump exponentially. And when your confidence level jumps, you act accordingly. I think.
You want to be a better person for the person you're with.
Yeah.
So
that's the whole thing. The whole point is be a better person for them, and that they make you want to be a better person.
Well, isn't it funny how people in relationships don't really reach out for people that make them better people? Look at all the relationships you see. The relationships you're seeing, they're not together because they make each other better people. 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. I agree.
And you look at these people and they just look so damn miserable. And they're with somebody who's not their enemy.
No.
They're not enemies. So why are they so miserable?
Well, that could be a lot of things. They pick
quit
the wrong
trying.
ones.
They quit doing these things to make their lives better.
Yeah. I mean, or they just pick the wrong one from the beginning. I think a lot of people just don't get out of relationships early enough. I think
people should get out of a relationship that doesn't make them a better person, because now we have all these assholes running around unhappy, unfulfilled, always got something negative to say, and life is not supposed to be that miserable.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I think that there has to be a jump out point much quicker now. We'll see at our age. You need to get out of shit quick. If you're not feeling it,
Run.
5 dates in, 6 dates in, but you also don't have to shit on somebody to say I would rather hear, we went on some dates and you're a good guy. You're just not for me. Awesome. Cool. I think now that's just easier for me. Don't draw things out years and then go, nah, you're really not the one for me. Yeah. It's like, well, wait a second. I was for years. Now what? Like, no, that's not cool. Get out while you can.
Exactly.
And use the 5 love languages. I think that you'll definitely, that'll work out for you. So any last words for, our revisit?
If you're in a relationship, work on doing something that will make your mate feel more confident and more reassured and happier with you, because they're getting a little bit of their needs met. And hopefully that'll turn around and be given right back to you.
Yep. Mine would be communicate through the 5 love languages.
There you go.
You can check us out pretty much anywhere you can hear podcasts. And I've seen some of our analytics. People use the weirdest shit. Some of these like off-brand podcasting things. So thank you very much. Share it, please. It's really helping us. And you can check us out on all the social medias. I'm trying to post as much as I can. So if you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, I think I've made a Threads. If I haven't, I'm going to. I post pretty much the day the show comes out and try to do it often. So just at least do that and subscribe to the show. So if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, there's a little button that says follow or subscribe, whatever it says. Click that so it just automatically downloads it.
There you go.
And it's an opinion show, so don't get it twisted. Keep coming back every Wednesday. That's Tina, and I'm Rob. We'll see you in a week. Later.
See ya.